Shoot. Hello, YouTube. Welcome back to another video. I'm Chris Flynn, and in this video, we're going to be talking about my top 10 favorite movies of all time. So, if you are into movies or you want to learn something about some great movies that I think are just great and discuss movies, I would love to lead the conversation on that. So, stick around to the end and let me know what your top 10 favorite movies are, or maybe top 3 if you can, or top 20, more or less, whatever. We're just having a good time here. All right, so let's get started. All right, so number 10 on my list is Annie Hall. This is the only romantic comedy on my list, but it's a good one. Changed my life first time I saw it. It's Woody Allen wrote it, directed it, and starred as the main character in it, Woody Allen. When did this movie come out? 1977. Long time ago. But I was not alive in 77, but I watched it recently and thought that just the whole psychology of it was brilliant. And it's funny. It's got everything that a romantic comedy needs, but it also has everything that a good movie needs. All right, moving on to number 9, Days of Heaven. Try to get that glare out of there. Terrence Malick's Days of Heaven. Now, this movie is very slow, but it's very like kind of empty. It kind of mirrors human existence in that we're just these shells that are walking around trying to consume, and we don't really have any much substance to us. At least that's what I get out of the movie. It's really just a story about his brother and sister, and the sister meets a man who's very wealthy. It takes place in the probably early 1900s, and he likes her, so they live together. But she has a thing for her brother. Uh, I have a sister, and I don't have a thing for her, but and never have. But just make that clear. I'm not into incest, but just how it's shot, the artistry of it, the mise en scène of it is just brilliant. Love it. So relaxing to watch. You got to see it to understand what I mean by that. The Days of Heaven, highly recommended. Next up, Reservoir Dogs. I first watched this movie when I was in like ninth grade. True story. And I didn't see this movie when it first came out in like 1992 rather. It's Quentin Tarantino's first movie about a group of gangsters who rob a jewelry store, but it goes wrong, but it's cut out of order, chronological order, kind of like Pulp Fiction, and other Tarantino movies. But yeah, I had no friends. I had moved to a new neighborhood when I started ninth grade, and I had no friends, and I would just go to Blockbuster every weekend and rent a movie or two and watch them. And that's when I discovered movies as like, I like good movies, like good film, and I got really into it. And I still am that way today. I have over 400 DVDs, and Blu-rays, and I'm still collecting, still seeking out new movies. I just want to say, like, if you disagree with this list or think that Days of Heaven is weird, or Annie Hall is lame, or Reservoir Dogs isn't as good as Pulp Fiction, or whatever you think, just let me know in the comments. This is just my list, and it doesn't have to be the end-all be-all, but it is for me. So yeah, Reservoir Dogs is Quentin Tarantino's first movie. Got the gas can edition here, 25th anniversary. I have the 20th anniversary edition, but when I went to college, someone stole it or went missing. I don't know. Anyway, it's a good movie. It's a fun crime thriller saga, but it's all about character. It's all about dialogue, just like most of Tarantino's work. Okay, so number 7 on my list is 2001: A Space Odyssey. This movie changed my life. I remember I had dropped out of college and I was back living with my mom, and she said, I was just talking to my mom, and she had noted that I would probably like this movie. So I was like, oh, I never gave it a chance. I already liked Stanley Kubrick for Barry Lyndon. I thought Barry Lyndon was brilliant. I liked Full Metal Jacket. I liked didn't really care for Clockwork Orange or The Shining, but I know a lot of people do. But yeah, this was one of his earlier films, science fiction, and it just covers the whole gambit of human consciousness, from apes learning to use tools to time travel and beyond. And it really is an epic film, but it doesn't sacrifice quality just to be cool special effects or whatever like they do now. Love Stanley Kubrick. He appears again on this list in a little while, so stay tuned. Number 6 is Raging Bull. This is a Martin Scorsese's, I'd say it's his magnum opus or masterpiece, if you will. It's about a boxer, pugilist, played by Robert De Niro. And it's just about his life growing up in New York City and boxing. And Joe Pesci's in it, plays his brother. There's a beautiful woman, I forget her name though, unfortunately. And it's just a very well done movie. This is one of the more hearty Scorsese films. Not that his films are bad. I love Scorsese. I always have. He was one of the first directors I fell in love with. But yeah, you got to see Raging Bull. Came out in 1980, but it's shot in black and white for effect. Go watch it. Definitely watch Raging Bull at least once in your life. Got to do it. Next up, here's Stanley Kubrick again. Full Metal Jacket. It's a Vietnam movie, and it's just such a fucking good movie to watch. Like, it's a Vietnam movie, and it starts out, the first hour of the film is at boot camp, and it's introducing all the characters. And then, second hour of the film is actually on boots on the ground in Vietnam and what happens to them. And it could be the best war movie of all time. I don't know. But Arlie Ermy as the drill instructor is classic. I think we all know quotes from that. And everybody's just so great in this movie. It's such an entertaining film, even though the subject matter is very heavy. Vietnam War was not too good of a time, you know. Anyway, Apocalypse Now is number 5. I'm sorry, number 4. And this movie is great. It's another Vietnam movie, and Coppola is on here twice. Francis Ford Coppola, director of this Apocalypse Now Redux. Is a Heart of Darkness. Is a journey into the heart and the whatever's there. It's open to your interpretation for sure, but I believe that it's just a descent into madness, and I can identify with that, being mentally ill myself. And it's just a very well done movie. I like the Redux version with more footage and re-edited some scenes. Characters are great. Everybody's great in this. Love this movie. Gotta watch it. Preferably on some sort of substance. I will say that. All right, number 3, I have the Godfather trilogy. 1 and 2 are brilliant. 3 is not as bad as everybody says it is, but it's still kind of not on the same tier level as part 1 and 2. Everybody knows The Godfather is like the quintessential mob movie, and Coppola just was knocking it out of the park back then. All right, number 2, Schindler's List. This is a very sad movie, obviously. And I know all the movies on my list are kind of very heavy and dark and tragic and depressing, maybe you might even say. But I don't know what it is. I just like movies that take life seriously, I guess, is one way to put it. But Schindler's List is the story of the Holocaust, um, and very sad movie, but there's hope in it too, and that's point of the movie is that there's always hope, and we can't let what happened in Nazi Germany with the Holocaust ever happen again, even though it is all over the world. It is really sad. So what do you say we move on to number one? My favorite movie of all time, and I can say this confidently, is The Thin Red Line. This is a World War II movie made in the 90s. Another Terrence Malick, who also did Days of Heaven earlier in the list. Thin Red Line. It takes a very human approach to war movies. It shows the fear and the intensity and the downright horrid actions that happen in war. I myself am not in the military, and I've never been in combat. I've never even fired a gun, but I can bet from what you see in movies and from what my grandfather used to say, who was at D-Day, um, June 1944, lost an eyeball, but he lived to be 80 something. War is hell, and people are afraid to die. And this really examines the theme of grunt, being a grunt, or doing the right thing, and then how those two interact and what is to come of those entities in the future. And I just, it strikes a chord with me. I've always been a very liberal person, and yeah, shows war how I think it should be portrayed. Anyway, well, those are my top 10 movies, guys. I didn't alienate anyone with that last comment, but yeah, let me know what your favorite movies are. I'd be really interested to see. Um, or just tell me what one or two are, or do a video of 20 or whatever. Not gonna meander too much longer. Love film. Keep watching movies, and look out for a new video from me coming up in early January. I got the every movie directed by Terry Gilliam, famous director of Monty Python fame. Uh, and I'm going to be giving you my thoughts on his 13 films that he's directed over his career. And yeah, what else? And I just wanted you to know I'm still open to watching new movies that I haven't seen before. I want to get into Robert Altman. I hear he's pretty good. Robert Altman movies. More Sidney Lumet. And what else? Mel Brooks. More Jim Carrey. Stuff like that. So yeah. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching the end, and you have yourself a wonderful day. Thanks for watching.